Hi there, it's Sarah with Sarah Loves to Stamp, and today our Quick Tip Tuesday is going to be about how to tie ribbon in kind of a, just a different way. It may be easier for some of you if you struggle with it. So we're going to get started. You need a roll of ribbon. You need some kind of cylinder to tie around, and I'm using my Stampin' Mist bottle for this size with the card. If you need longer, just use a bigger cylinder. I guess that's kind of obvious. And ribbon, scissors, and then tape. My tape's off camera because it's one of these behemoths. But anyway, so I have this project here, and this is my triple time stamping card. And I taught this at my technique class this week. And I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys. I'm going to tie the ribbon around this panel. And especially, I have trouble with the seam binding, tying it around a panel because it's just kind of slippery and it's very thin. I love this ribbon. It's beautiful, especially for like vintage projects or things like that. Anyway, and so I'm just going to go ahead and put my ribbon around my cylinder, and I'm right-handed, so I have my tail coming off. I'm going to go ahead and move. I usually end up having the roll on the left side here. Your tail is going to come off of the left, and this is how I tie a knot normally around a card normally anyway. So anyway, this will give you another view of it. But I'm going to take, you see I have them in the opposite hands. I'm going to take my right over left. Go ahead and stick it through. And then here's the big trick. Oops. Jeez. You take this back one and you flip it. See, it's coming off like this way. You flip it this way. Sorry, I'm kind of sliding around. I do much better when I'm off camera, clearly. Okay, so there it is. And then you just bring the top down. I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I tie it straight off the roll because it saves ribbon. And then you're just going to stick your tail through there, hopefully. Of course, I'm having trouble with that on camera. Ha! Here we go. And then I hold my fingernail, my right thumbnail is actually on the knot, on the bottom of the knot, and so I'm pulling to the left, and then obviously you have to let it go at some point, and then you're still going to pull more to the left than the right, and then you should be able to tie it nice and tight there. You don't want to tie it super tight or it'll be hard to slide off the bottle, and then you have something like this, and then what you're going to do, you just have a loop here. You're going to cut that loop, and depending on where you want the knot is where you need to cut the loop. I want my knot over here because my sentiment's over here. I'm kind of going to balance it out. And so I need to cut mine so that I have a smaller piece over here. So I'm going to cut it kind of towards this side. So I'm going to cut it like right about there. And then you'll see what happens is it opens up and you have two pieces. And so these are the parts, these two, the original parts, are the parts I'm going to tape around the back to make my ribbon, or my bow. And then I'm going to cut this one. Actually, right now I could probably cut this one. Alright. And then I'm just going to take a piece of tape. And you can also use, let me grab my snail here first. You can also use, if you have trouble with this, I know every once in a while I do it makes it a little easier if you use a little bit of snail on the back. Just use a couple strips. And then you can hold it on the front. You can also use a glue dot. If your bow isn't like, your knot isn't sticking where you want it to, you can always use, you know what, I should have done this upside down. Oh, the only reason I said that is because when I tie it, you can see my tail comes down here, but I can try and fix that. I can also move it up a little bit. Okay, so I want my knot about there. And so, ooh, that doesn't give me much tail to wrap around. My finger keeps getting stuck on my snail on the back. Okay, so then you can just press it into your snail on the back, and even, like, mine's barely holding it. But it doesn't really matter, because really what you want to do is just get it stuck so you can add your tape. Oh, and I think I just grabbed that from that piece. Okay, and then you want to make sure it's straight. You can usually check this on the back too. You can also use your grid paper. You know, if I like line it up here, I could see, oh, it's about halfway. Oh, no, mine wasn't quite straight. So about there should be straight. Yeah, use your grid paper. Unfortunately, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these mats anymore, but I use my grid paper all the time for lining things up. I just didn't in this video because I thought since the project was so pale it would contrast better. So, and there's that. Okay, so you're done with that, and then you can, of course, you know, that's fraying a little bit, so you can trim your tails however you want them. I'm going to trim mine like that. And trim this one this way too. I like to have the pointy parts in opposite places. Of course, that's just a personal preference. One other tip I wanted to mention to you, I normally, on the rest of my rolls of ribbon, I have them, like I pull this piece up and tape it so it doesn't come unraveled. I do not do that with my seam binding because the seam binding, again, it's so like thin. You can see there's a little crease right there maybe. It will leave a crease on your ribbon of where you folded it over, and it won't come out unless you, like, I'm sure if you ironed it or something. So I just leave mine, I just kind of fold it over, and the seam binding actually stays pretty well, I mean, compared to some of the other ones. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that as well. This is a great tip if you're somebody who hates tying ribbons, or if you struggle with like getting them tight enough, because you can pull as hard as you want on the piece of plastic, you know what I mean? Compared to on paper, at some point, if you're pulling too hard, the paper is going to bend or warp, or you'll get little, like I get the little notches if I do it too hard with like the baker's twine or the linen thread, it almost cuts into it. So that's a tip for you guys. Just try it out, see what you think, and feel free to leave me a comment or email me and let me know how it went for you if you like that tip. And yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you guys next week.